Hey everyone, and welcome to Book Lovers Unite. Today, we are diving deep into an absolute must-read for anyone making a career move, The First 90 Days by Michael D. Watkins. We're going to break down the proven strategies that'll help you get up to speed faster and smarter right from day one. So, you got the new job, or maybe it's a big promotion. We've all been there, right? First, there's that huge rush of excitement. But then, Monday morning rolls around. You walk through the door, and this one thought just takes over. Okay, wow, now I actually have to do this. It's this wild mix of pure thrill and, let's be honest, a little bit of terror. And you know what? That feeling is completely justified. The statistics are pretty staggering. A full 40% of new leaders actually fail within their first 18 months. The stakes are just incredibly high, and a bad start is almost always the reason why.
But what if I told you it doesn't have to come down to luck? What if there was a strategic playbook for this make or break period? Well, that's exactly what the first 90 days is. This isn't about just hoping you survive. It's about having a real, concrete framework to actually thrive. So here's our game plan for today. We're going to start with the core concept, the 90-day challenge. Then we'll look at the traps you need to avoid, how to diagnose your new situation, the critical skill of managing your boss, and finally, how to build that all-important momentum. All right, let's kick things off with section 1, the 90-day challenge. Okay, so Watkins gives us this really crucial idea called the break-even point. Think about it. When you first start, you're what he calls a net consumer. You're taking up your manager's time, training resources, your colleagues' help. You're basically making withdrawals. Your number one goal is to get to that break-even point as fast as you can, the point where you start contributing more value than you take.
This chart shows the journey perfectly. You start out over on the left, consuming a ton and contributing, well, not so much. The entire strategy of this book is designed to rocket you over to the right side of this chart, to become a net contributor in 90 days, not 6 months, not a year.
But hold on, because here's the first huge trap, the action imperative. You know that feeling, right? That nervous pressure to prove yourself by just doing something, anything. So you start making changes without really understanding the culture or what the real problems are. And this almost always backfires. It can make you look arrogant, and it can seriously damage your credibility from the get-go. The big lesson here, learn before you lead. All right, next up, let's talk about avoiding the common traps that can trip up even the smartest, most talented people.
This is one of the most famous lines from the whole book. What got you here won't get you there. That incredible technical skill that got you the promotion, that's not what's going to make you a successful leader. The biggest mistake people make is relying on their old strengths. You really have to learn to let go of what made you an expert so you can embrace the totally new skills your new role demands.
Watkins actually gives this feeling a name, promotion depression. It's that real sense of loss, that grief you feel for leaving behind a role where you were the expert, where you felt confident, to basically become a rookie all over again. And just acknowledging that this is a real, vulnerable feeling is the very first step to getting past it.
Okay, so once you've got your own mindset in check, it's time to figure out what kind of organization you've just walked into. And this brings us to probably the most practical tool in the entire book, the STARS model.
See, Watkins argues that not all new jobs are created equal. You have to figure out the situation. Are you in a startup where your job is to be a builder? Or is it a turnaround where you have to be a surgeon making tough, decisive cuts? If you're walking into a sustaining success situation, you can't come in acting like a surgeon. You'll alienate everybody. You need to be a steward. The whole point is you have to diagnose the situation before you can even think about creating a strategy.
So, you've diagnosed the situation. Now let's focus on what is probably the single most important relationship you will build, the one with your new boss. Watkins is really clear on this. You, not them, have to own this relationship proactively. He lays out 5 specific, crucial conversations you need to have to make sure you're totally aligned. You need to agree on the situation, you need to clarify expectations, secure your resources. But for me, that 4th one, the communication style conversation, is an absolute game changer. Just asking a simple question like, hey, do you prefer a detailed email or a quick chat, can save you months of frustration. Seriously. Okay, now we are moving from diagnosis and planning into execution. It's time to talk about building momentum and getting some real, tangible results. The key here is to secure some early wins. And look, these aren't about stroking your ego. They're all about building credibility. The goal is to solve small but visible problems that actually matter to other people.
Doing this buys you the political capital you're absolutely going to need for the bigger challenges down the road. And of course, you can't win alone. In pretty much any organization, you're going to have your supporters and you're going to have your opposers. But the real prize, it's that huge undecided majority in the middle, the swing voters. Your energy in those first 90 days shouldn't be wasted trying to convert your haters. It should be laser focused on building a coalition by winning over that crucial middle group.
You know, when it's all said and done, it really comes down to this powerful quote from Watkins himself. Your success or failure isn't decided a year from now. The foundation, for better or for worse, is built in those critical first 3 months. So don't wing it. Have a plan.
So that brings me to a question for all of you watching. What is the biggest mistake you've ever made when starting a new job? Did you fall into that action imperative trap? Did you completely misread the politics of the office? Go ahead and share your war stories down in the comments below. I would genuinely love to read them.
And that is our breakdown of the first 90 days. If this explainer helped you map out your next move, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. It really helps the channel out. And of course, make sure you subscribe to Book Lovers Unite so you don't miss our next deep dive. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.